In the wake of Deontay Wilder declaring himself to be a promotional free agent, Eddie Hearn has said that he'd like to make a play for him. He'd like to try and secure Deontay Wilder's signature. I'm not sure whether he's reached out yet, but it's going to be interesting to see how Wilder responds if he does get that correspondence from Eddie Hearn, because of course there's been a long history of bad blood between the two. In fact, that's probably not accurate to say, because the bad blood has only ever been on Wilder's side. Eddie Hearn has never shown any malice or dislike towards Deontay Wilder for the most part, at least not as far as I can remember. But Wilder has had this seething hatred of Eddie Hearn for many, many years, inexplicably so, because Eddie Hearn has never done anything so awfully wrong to him. But Wilder is a very emotional character, and he's got all these people whispering in his ear over the years, people who don't like Eddie Hearn, business rivals and so on. And Wilder takes all this stuff on board and ends up really upset and angry with Eddie. So it would seem unlikely that Wilder would sign with Hearn, but boxing is a very strange sport where unlikely things do happen from time to time in a business sense. I mean, who'd have thought that after their brawl at that press conference and their fight, that David Haye and Derek Chisora would ever become manager and fighter? So strange things happen in boxing. This might even trump that, to be honest with you, because again, the kind of vitriol that Deontay Wilder has aimed at Eddie Hearn over the years has been pretty intense at times. So we'll see what happens. Now, with the bad blood aside, are there other reasons that Deontay Wilder may not want to sign with Eddie Hearn? Well, DAZN are not doing particularly great at the moment. That might be one reason. Another reason could be the fact that Eddie Hearn, rather than prioritizing Deontay Wilder versus AJ, he seems to want to prioritize Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, which is exactly what PBC are offering Deontay Wilder. So unless Eddie Hearn can offer him something different, or maybe the same fight for an awful lot more money, then I'm not sure why Deontay Wilder would go there, because as of right now, Wilder hasn't seemed very keen on that Andy Ruiz fight for whatever reason. And he's looking in every other direction instead. Obviously, he'd like Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, even Francis Ngannou. But with regards to Ruiz, it doesn't seem that interested. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure, well, actually, let me not say I'm sure, because maybe Wilder has learned from his past. Maybe he's changed the way that he does things as he gets older. We'll have to wait and find out. But what I was going to say is I'm sure that Deontay Wilder will say something if he receives correspondence from Eddie Hearn, perhaps something not very complimentary. We will see. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Eddie Hearn saying he's going to reach out to Deontay Wilder. Could you see Wilder signing with Matchroom? Can you imagine how weird that would be? It's almost as weird as Manny Pacquiao signing with PBC. You know how that seemed at the time? After this long history of back and forth between Top Rank and Al Heyman and, PBC and what have you. After all that, and particularly the Pacquiao fans, they had this seething hatred of PBC. For Pacquiao to then sign with them, it was a surreal moment. And Deontay Wilder signing with Matchroom would be, I want to say, even more surreal than that. Because Pacquiao, to my knowledge, never really said anything that scathing about PBC or Al Heyman, in the past. But as I say, Deontay Wilder said all kind of stuff about Eddie Hearn. He's treated him like he is the devil incarnate. Literally. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Wilder signing with Matchroom, could it happen? Would it be a good move? One thing I will say with regards to PBC just do not keep their fighters active enough. Nowhere near enough activity. And that makes the fighters suffer. Not just financially, but also in terms of producing their best form. You need to be active in order to produce your best form. I'm not saying you can't produce good form if you're not so active, because some fighters are just that talented. But in order to produce your absolute best form, you need to be active. So with Deontay Wilder, very inactive of late, needs to get out there and sign some kind of deal. And if he is thinking more about activity, then leaving Al Heyman perhaps should be an option for him if he cares that much about making sure he gets out more than once a year. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.